Welcome to Kings of Kimuras.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Kings of Kimuras. I'm not sure what episode this is because it's been like a minute since we've had a podcast.
Yeah, we've got always busy here at Corvo, man. We're always growing the team, so sometimes it's hard to find the time to sit down.
And we just got done with, like, as you guys know, here in Texas, a massive ice storm. It's when it ices here, it's not like the rest of the country. I feel like, there's no snow. It's just a solid sheet of ice, so it makes it almost difficult to do anything.
Yeah, I was locked in the house for a couple days, pretty much just going crazy. But watching a lot of instructionals, of course, that the work never stops, even though there's ice on the ground.
Yeah, we've been, during the holiday break, we filmed a bunch of content for the Circle app, which I've finally got all the videos edited yesterday. I think it's like 37 videos that we've got done. So we'll get those uploaded and like accessible by the student base here.
Nice, dude. Yeah, it was honestly a lot of fun, man. Just, I think going over the fundamentals constantly, at least as a black belt, is super important still. Like being able to properly break fall and, honestly, brushing up on my close guard and stuff. I'm like, there's still a lot of stuff that I can learn from here. So
yeah, and the whole reason I kind of wanted to start with that fundamental process is that, we get a lot of new students in here and we don't necessarily like teach, people how to hip escape or anything anymore. So I feel like it's important to have a knowledge base for people like that so that, I don't want to have a fundamentals program. I know a lot of schools like do have that where it's like a 6-week revolving kind of course. I just don't want to have to do that. I feel like as an instructor, it kind of like, it's not really where my focus is. Not to say that I'm not focused on new students, but I feel like people can kind of jump in and learn at a more advanced level based off like the way that you teach it,
Yeah, for sure. It should be a system. It should be like here's step 1 and 2 and 3. Like it should all kind of like flow together. So I try to do, like when I run classes, I try to start with a little more basics, but I tell the more advanced guys, like, hey, if you want to do like X, Y, and Z from this position, that's cool too.
Yeah.
For you guys who don't, or like your first time doing this or whatnot, then just stick with the first step.
Yeah. And you've evolved a lot as an instructor. I can tell it even in like watching you when I was filming those instructionals of how detailed you were, and then you're showing it from different angles. And, when you're filming an instructional, it's like you're teaching it to a group of people that have like never done this technique before. And sometimes that can kind of be lost in like, I'm only going to show them one repetition where, sometimes it's better to like, show it 2 or 3 times because you may catch something that you didn't think about in like the first time that you showed it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I showed probably like a minimum of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like I showed like 3 times and then like, all right, break.
Yeah.
Let's try it now. Unless it's something pretty complex,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's something that's relatively simple, at least in concept, then I'll just show it like 3 times from different angles.
A way that I like to teach is sometimes where I have you and Steven show the technique and I kind of talk through it, but we're all 3 of us are so in sync that you kind of already know like what we're showing, and I first saw that when I went and trained with Donaher, but then like anytime that I've been injured, obviously you can't show the technique the same way that you would if you weren't injured,
Most definitely. Yeah, you got to kind of improvise. I've done that with the kids too.
Mm-hmm.
I think for kids it's good because it kind of, you can't really hide,
Yeah.
You're not just, everybody's not doing the technique all at the same time. So the kids have to really like be paying attention. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I have a few students who are advanced enough where I could just tell them what to do and they'll instinctually know, like that in sync thing you were talking about.
Yeah. I've seen some schools, jiu-jitsu schools, where they kind of follow that kata from karate or taekwondo, where everybody is doing the move at the same time. And I feel like you're creating like robots at that point,
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's going to have their own style and their own flavor. And there's so many different body types. Like sometimes when I'm showing, like especially leg entanglements and things like that, I know the bigger guys in the gym are probably going to struggle with that a little bit. So I have to really hone in on all the details and stuff. And of course, if you can't do single leg X, then that's probably not great. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, if you can at least do that, then I feel pretty confident about the rest.
Yeah, there's definitely, I think as an instructor, you teach the technique and then you kind of go around, you make adjustments for everybody because there's some people in the class that are not as flexible or not as strong or, XYZ, right? So,
yeah, there's a lot of variables that go into it. So that's why as an instructor, it doesn't matter if there's like 2 people or if there's 20 people on the mat. You have to go around and be helping everybody and like trying to dial in on the specifics as much as you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I wanted to touch a little bit about like kind of what's going on in the jiu-jitsu community.
Crazy stuff.
Crazy
stuff.
And what excuse me, what we're talking about is that, there's a lot of instructors that take advantage of their position of power, whether that's like, using other students for financial gain, or in this instance, it's like taking advantage of people, in like a sexual way, right? So,
yeah, it's really bad, man. And I think it's been a problem in jiu-jitsu for a long time. But now people are obviously a lot less tolerant, as they should be, about that kind of thing. But like, we had an instance here, like around this area, with that same scenario where black belt is taking advantage of an underage girl, and like, I just gotta wonder how much of that is just like a cultural thing, because you see in other sports, like, yeah, that might be an issue, but I feel like in BJJ it's like pretty rampant at a high level.
Yeah, I looked up today, like, what is the age of consent in Brazil, and it's 14. So it kind of makes me wonder, do a lot of, and not to say that it's not Americans too, but, I would say like more times than not, it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructors, not, people that teach Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but people from Brazil teaching jiu-jitsu. And I wonder if it's just something that's in the culture,
Yeah, so they don't even see it as wrong, really. And that's just a crazy thing to say.
Yeah.
You're not in Brazil, man. You're in America. And if you really sit down and think about this logically, nowhere on earth should the age of consent be 14. That's insane.
Yeah, I just don't see like ever being attracted to, somebody that is underage. Not even like, for me, I've always been, like, my wife is older than me, so I've like always dated either people my age or older. I don't even think I could have a conversation with somebody like when I talk to a 14 or 15-year-old, whether it's male or female, it's like we're on 2 totally different brain links,
Yeah, of course. And I think it's because we're probably raised properly, know. Yeah, I always went for girls my age or older. My girlfriend now is a little bit younger, but it's like 3 years.
Yeah,
it's nothing in relation to some of these age discrepancies. I mean, talking guys in their 30s messing around with teenage girls, and that's just disgusting.
Yeah, I guess we can touch on it. Like the most recent alleged allegations are about Andre Galval, which everybody knows he's like a legend in the sport, and probably leads one of the largest teams in the world, probably second to Gracie Baja.
Yeah, I mean, they won Worlds one year, right? It was very recently, like I want to say 2023 or 2022. Mm-hmm. They won Gi Worlds as a team. So obviously, like, he's kind of been the spearhead for this whole thing. And so when you get a person in a position like that, and already they have this preconceived notion about like age of consent and things like that, they just think they can do whatever they want. And obviously you can't, because that's just immoral. And I think
some of it is that, they're in this position of such power that they almost feel like untouchable, I know that, he's got to be connected with like the community there, right? He has his own church and stuff. And, the allegations are not only was he, having relationships with some of the parents of kids in the gym, which, have led to some divorces, but also some underage girls, and like the allegations of the ages haven't come out yet, but I'm sure like as time passes, more of that information will come out.
Yeah, for sure. And it just makes BJJ as a whole look real bad.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why it was Adam Bradley, actually. Like, I was just looking on Instagram, and he made this whole post about these guys who you think you're idols, you know, they look great on the mat, they say all the right things, like all glory to God and this, that, and the other. But then when you look at their life and their actions, it's like completely the opposite.
Yeah.
So you can't, like, after that came out, I said, you know what, dude, I can't idolize any of these guys anymore. Like, I'm also going to be competing against a lot of these guys at some point, but even beyond that, it's like they're human beings as well. Like, you shouldn't be idolizing another human, because they're going to make mistakes too. And like, nobody's perfect, but obviously some people are more imperfect than others, as we know. But
yeah, I just don't understand the mindset, because, you know, it'll destroy his whole legacy and everything that he's built, and, you know, for what, you know, like, you know, there's also allegations that his wife and daughter knew about this, and they were kind of covering it up, and I'm sure, you know, that's a financial thing, right? I mean, a lot of times when you see people in situations like this, it's you know, they're trying to protect what they have, right? So
yeah, of course. And that's why, and they allow it to go on.
Yeah.
Because if it came to light, then of course they'd know. And so that's like, how much mental gymnastics do you have to do to like try to justify this in your head? You know? Like, cause I feel like if you caught me doing something like that, like, obviously you want the best for me, but you can't let that slide. Like, as soon as that comes to light, I'm gone, you know, and I know that. So I'm just never going to put myself even in that situation. Like, we've even talked about, you know, when we're traveling with some of our students who are minors, like, we're not staying in the same room as them.
Yeah.
I got my own room. You stay with whoever. You stay with your parents, or like, what? You're not going to stay in my room. That's crazy. Because you don't even want to give the impression that like you go that kind of way. You know, that's just, you want to avoid all that.
Yeah, I had a situation one time where we traveled for like kids' pans, and, you know, this is when we were with our previous team, and everybody's staying in the house, and there's kids and parents and stuff. And Susan and I got there late, and we were supposed to have like our own private room with bathroom and stuff. And we go to the room, and somebody's stuff is in there, and the parents that of two boys had taken that room and then put their two boys in another room that they were supposed to stay in with them. And then they're like, well, you'll just stay in that room with those boys. And I go, okay. And so I just go downstairs and I start looking online for a hotel immediately.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm getting a hotel because I'm not staying in a room with your kids. You know, like, one, it's, you know, I don't know your kids like that. But secondly, like, that's just weird anyway. You know, why would you put like the coach in the room with kids?
Yeah, you know? That's just, if you have a developed frontal lobe, you know that this is wrong here.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why for me, it's like pretty obvious. It's like a power thing for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Probably everybody, you know, everybody who's in that position and abuses their position like that. It's all about power.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they think they can just take whatever they want, and then there'll just be no repercussions, you know? And, cause it always starts with just one, you know, and then it just builds from there. So it's like, how far does this really go back? Cause
yeah, I mean, there's been other major teams too, right? I mean, you think about like Fight Sports has been pretty well known about, you know, having a bunch of issues. And I mean, they're still a pretty major team. Like, their people compete in major events. I just don't know, like, as a whole in the community, like, how are we okay with this, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And how's there not like widespread repercussions for that? Like,
yeah,
a lot of those IBJJF guys, the Fight Sports guys still do IBJ. Roosevelt Souza still does IBJJF and stuff, and he represents Fight Sports. And it's like, dude.
Yeah, I just wonder, you know, how many, like, I'm sure they're getting new students in the door, you know, and how many of those people like have no idea, you know? I mean, there's like a pretty well-known case of, you know, the guy in Wagner's gym who was like accused of having I guess he wasn't even accused. There were like formal charges. I can't remember the guy's name right now, but
I think it's Marcel Gonsalves.
That's right. Yeah. And so he had a wife and kid, And, they were still like allowing him in the gym to teach kids classes. And then when it came time for him to go to court, he just disappeared to Brazil and like left his wife and kid here,
Yeah. And that's what they do, man. They just tuck their tail and run whenever shit gets hard.
Yeah.
Just like Nat. She went to I don't even know what she's doing now. She's like training with the Taliban or something.
Yeah, that's a whole other like craziness, I don't get that at all, but you're never going to be able to come back into the United States for sure, unless you come back as like an alias or something, they wait for like wait a few years and then get like a fake Social Security card to come back.
You have to get all that plastic surgery out of your face.
Yeah.
And you'll probably look totally different.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure training with the Taliban will like help that quite a bit.
Yeah. Just wear the burqa.
Yeah.
And nobody will ever see your face. But and again, like there's another guy, Isaac Michelle, who's in like the same boat. So it just I've never even thought about like, yes, I do teach classes. Yes, I have this position of power, but I've never been like, oh, I'm going to use this position for my own like gain.
Yeah.
That's just weird behavior. That's really sick and kind of psychotic behavior at the end of the day. So,
yeah, I mean, I've had like one instance where there was a woman that was like, it was clear she was kind of like a jiu-jitsu groupie. She had like bounced around different places, and she wanted to do some private lessons with me. And of course, I'm like, yeah, sure. And I told Susan about it, my wife, and I was like, hey, we're going to do these privates on this day. I need you to be there. And so the lady shows up, and the first thing she says is, oh, I didn't know you would be here. And
what a weird thing to say right off the bat.
So I did like 3 privates with her, and honestly, like I felt like she wasn't really there to learn. And I kind of pushed her off on one of the other coaches, and she didn't want to do privates with him, so she just left and went to the next gym, so.
Yeah, you got to watch out for people like that because they're the ones that get you in the most trouble, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, that's why, another reason why, like, yeah, we use the cameras for, watching training and stuff, but it's also, like, to protect us as instructors,
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You got to keep everybody safe in here because, anybody could say anything about the gym. There was a guy who came in who was like schizophrenic or something, and he said that we were helping Richardson PD human traffic. And it's like, well, that's not true at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that guy I'm pretty sure he was like clearly psychotic because when I posted the video about him and like, all the information that we had like obtained from him, there were like 10 other gym owners that said the same thing. Like he came into my gym, he rolled, somebody tapped him out, and he started going crazy. We didn't even get that far. Like he came in and he was like barefoot. And,
he was barefoot in the bathroom and then tried to step on the mat. And I was trying to get his attention. Like I was just kind of raising my voice, and then he just kept walking past me. So I just snapped like that, and then that set him off. He like started cussing me out and like, oh, fuck Corvo martial arts. You guys suck, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like over here by the side door, and I think it was you, David, and Caleb, who was training with us at the time, all started like cornering this guy and being like,
Roy was over there too.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't want him to go out the front door because I had no idea like what this guy's going to do, like, is he going to go through and like, break everything in the gym on the way out? So we just kind of like pushed him out that side door. And then as soon as he got outside, that's when he started getting super vocal, Of
course.
I mean, that's one of those situations where like it's better to escort the guy out than like end up in a fist fight with him,
like beating him up, because it would have been bad, obviously.
Yeah,
but that's like the discipline you got to have as a martial artist. Like there's gonna be crazy people come in sometimes, and like if they want to come in and train, that's one thing. But I don't think obviously this guy was not here to train. He was here to just like make a scene.
Yeah, when I found his Facebook, he had like it was like every 15 seconds because it gives you a timestamp. Like every 15 seconds, it was like Dallas PD traffics kids, Dallas firefighters traffic kids, Corvo martial arts traffics kids, and then he would have like a video of like where the firefighters show up at his house for like a wellness check, and he's like, they're trying to traffic me right now. Like, no, dude, they're trying to make sure you're taking your medication.
Yeah, for real. And that's a scary part about owning a jiu-jitsu gym, I guess, is like you get some people in here who are like that, but obviously a majority the people who come in, are not like that. But every once in a while, I'm sure if you own a gym out there, you've encountered a few weird people in your time, probably more than a few, depending on the area that you were teaching in.
Yeah, I think it happened more when we were first open. The first one that I ever really remember was a guy that came in and he said he was like a Chinese judo black belt. So I'm like, if you tell me that, like, I'm going to take your word for it. And, I may not necessarily like believe it, but like if you don't ever go to a martial arts gym and tell them you're a black belt in something if you're not.
Yeah, of course.
But he did at that time we had like a week free. This guy showed up every day, and like the first day, he wanted to roll, and he was rolling with one of our guys, and he ended up like just grabbing the guy by the face with his claws. I'm like, whoa, dude, what are you doing? You can't do that,
Yeah.
And then the next day he came back. David was rolling with him and like guillotined him from standing, and the guy just goes out, and David kind of lets go of him, but holding the guy up, and he comes to, and he just throws up. And he's like so out of it, he's walking through his own puke. And so now we've got to clean everything up.
Oh, my gosh.
And the third day he comes in, he's rolling with one of our other guys, Josh, that isn't here anymore. And, this is training in the gi, like no rash guard or anything underneath. And Josh cross chokes the guy. The guy goes out. And when he wakes up, he throws up all over Josh.
Bro, what is
wrong
with this guy?
The fourth day he comes in. He's got his girlfriend with him, and now she's going to film him training. But they had like gone to a pet store and got like a gerbil or something before. And so she's got like this box with this gerbil in it while she's filming him.
What?
And I foot swept the guy, and it was more of like a shin to shin kick, like my shin like dented in, like I hit him so hard. And the guy was like, yeah, I'm done. Like, and of course he like never came back after that. And like looking back on it, obviously that was like early days of Corvo, but we definitely handled that the wrong way. But, back in the day, like somebody would come in, it was almost like a challenge to, oh, this guy's a black belt. Okay. Like everybody in the gym is going to get their turn with him.
Yeah, of course. That's how, I feel like that's how most young gyms are. Cause you get, they think that just because it's like a small gym that these guys in here are going to be pushovers or something like that. And it's like, no, dude. Some of these guys in here have been training for over 5 years, like 7 years, Yeah. Me, I've been training for 15. Like, you're not going to come in and just do whatever you want to me. That's crazy talk, The
other one that we had, and you were here for this one, was that guy Chuck. You remember him?
Oh, yeah.
And I guess he is like actually like trained Taekwondo for quite a while, but I was here. Susan was running the front desk. It was just us two, and the guy walks in wanting to do a trial. And while I'm getting changed, he mentions to her, like, don't you think that any black belt should be able to defend themselves against somebody off the street?
Sure.
So as I'm walking to the mat, she was like, hey, I think this guy's like here to challenge you. And I'm like, what? And so we go to roll, and the guy was pretty big, and I got on his back, and I knew he was going to stand up, and I was afraid he was going to dive back. And so as soon as he got up, I just got off and like tripped him backwards, and I subbed him like 5 or 6 times. And every time he was getting like more angry. And then you went with him next, and he like actually did dive back.
Yeah, he did
right?
like plant me on my back, but it wasn't from standing. It was like he got up to a knee. And I was like, oh, this guy wants to like slam me. Because obviously, if you've been doing jiu-jitsu for any length of time, like, and you're rolling with somebody who's untrained, you got to expect untrained like reactions, Can't expect them to like roll nicely. So I knew he was going to try to jump back. So I kind of pulled him into it first. And then he kind of like jumped back into it. And then I just right over the chin, rear naked choke. And of course, like you said, it's one of those things where you don't want to go that hard on this guy, but you can't just let guys come in and think they can do whatever they want and like roll however they want without repercussions.
Yeah, I mean, that guy did like a couple of days. I feel like, maybe he did like the week paid trial or something. And at the end of the week, he was like, yeah, this is not for me. He went back to Taekwondo.
What do you think? You're going to just come in and like get good in 2 weeks, bud? Like, that's not how this works.
Yeah, I think the best way, if anybody's watching this of like considering jiu-jitsu, go in and be humble, like just be willing to learn, ask a lot of questions, and don't really expect to win, not for a while.
Yeah, and like if you're going in to try to like win or like prove something, then you're coming in with the wrong mentality because it's just training. It's not a competition. And if you come in treating it like a competition and you escalate the situation, you can't get mad when the other person matches your intensity. Because I mean, we talk about that all the time. Is like I'll roll about as intense as you roll.
Yeah.
If you're starting to like spaz out and go crazy, well, now I got to put you on bottom and crush you for the rest of the time because now I don't trust you. I don't trust that if I give you space, that like you're gonna probably hurt me or you're gonna hurt yourself in some way. So I just like with people like that, I just put them in bottom half guard, give them the cross face of justice, and then just do my thing from there.
Yeah, I'll like let some white belts work and stuff and get to side control, but the second that I get kneed in the head from side control on the bottom, like you're just gonna suffer the rest of the round, So, like, just I feel like white belts are like the least body aware,
Yeah, for sure. It's like Bambi on ice. Dude. They don't know where to put their legs, and so I get a lot when guys are defending arm bars. They'll kick me in the head. I'm like, okay. Now your arm's mine, but and then what I'll do is I'll just like get back up into mount and then put all my pressure on them, like right on their sternum, so they can't kick me in the head anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of we do that police training, which you haven't got to do yet, but I feel like that's about as close to being in like a real fight with somebody that has no idea what to do and being like a trained martial artist. It's exciting, but at the same time, like you said, it's unpredictable sometimes. So a lot of things that I would do in jiu-jitsu where, maybe like my foot is in a position where like they could roll over it or something, I just don't do, it's like I go straight to mount and then I just keep pressure over the hips and like try to keep their arms elevated, or I go to their back and I flatten them out belly down.
You keep it bread and butter, man.
Yeah.
You just like the classics, the fundamentals.
Yeah, well, your body just kind of naturally takes over. You could have a game plan of what you're going to do in that scenario, but like what I've discovered is that in a real situation, you almost always end up on the back.
Yeah, they'll turn their back to you because they don't know.
Yeah,
they don't know anything, so they're trying to get up and they turn, and you're like, oh, that's a freebie right there.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I feel like when I was younger, I would roll with my friends who like didn't train and stuff, and some of them were pretty strong, but I just had better techniques. I would like be triangling them and like putting them in arm bars and taking their back and stuff. So it's like rolling with a child almost sometimes, like a big child. Because some of those guys in there, you're saying, are like close to 300.
Yeah,
so
there's some big ass dudes in there.
No thanks, I'm good. And it's because the police training's always like the week of or the week before some of my big tournament. Like I didn't do the last one because I think like there's that ADCC Open, like the Louisville Open. So,
right before it, yeah.
Yeah.
Or right after, yeah.
No, I'm good.
Well, we're running out of time here, so we're keeping it short and simple. Hope you guys appreciate the podcast. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel and our social medias, and we'll try to keep them regular.
Yes, sir.
And that's a wrap for today's Kings of Kimuras episode. Thanks for joining us on this epic journey. Remember to keep training, stay curious, and always be ready for the next adventure. Until next time, keep your guards up and your minds open.